Hey guys, Nigel here with you, Nigel's Modelling Bench, and here we are today. It's Friday the 4th of March 2022 and I've got the first of my new kit reviews for you. I'm intending to do at least one or two reviews every day for the next few days because I've bought some kits which have a theme, i.e. they come from a certain country. So basically this is my first review, and this is a kit made obviously by ICM. And it's kit number 24040. It's got nice glossy bosses, you can see. And it's basically the Benz Patent Motorwagen 1886. And it's rumoured this is actually the first, classed as the first production car. The Benz Patent Motorwagen, patent motor car, built in 1885, is widely regarded as the world's first production automobile. That is, a vehicle designed to be propelled by an internal combustion engine. Karl Benz unveiled his invention to the public on the 3rd of July 1886 on the Ringstrasse in Mannheim. About 25 patent motorwagen were built between 1886 and 1893. An unassembled model kit, length 106mm, height 67, includes 76 plastic parts, 12 Photoetch parts, cement and paint needed to finish the model are not included, 14 plus, ICM Holdings, Ukraine. So basically, it's 1/24 scale. I got this from Amazon, okay, and it was, I think it was £41. If you can also get this kit with the figures, so you can get Mrs. Benz and her two sons, and that one is £57 I think, but I don't do figures, so I just got the standard one. I'm sending this back because I've since found you can get this kit from Dave Coley's Emporium for £29 or £29.99. So I'm sending this back to Amazon because there's no way I'm paying £11 more than I can get it for from Dave and support a hobby shop as well. So this is going back. This has actually come from Creative Models, so obviously Amazon are buying from Creative Models or whatever. So basically you can see we've got around the box, you've got a lovely image on the front. You've got some, around the box you've got some images of the model, sort of forward, side and rear view, saying basically for collectors age 14 and over. Okay, ICM. And on the end of the box, saying again, and then the stuff here that I just read out. Basically, it looks like a lovely little model now, and it's certainly different. Typical ICM, very nice packaging, box within a box. So here we go, we can have a look inside the box. So we've got a bag of sprues, which are all rattling around together. And unbelievably, it looks, I have had a look in here, I haven't opened anything, but I have had a look. And it looks like nothing is broken, which I find hard to believe, because when you look at all this rattling around and all these tiny little parts, there's a lot of very small, very delicate parts in here. So we'll have a look at that in a minute. Then we've got this little white card envelope, which is nice. And then in here we've got our Photoetch, which looks like it's either copper plated or it's made of copper. But it certainly has a copper colour to it. It's nothing like brass. And then we have in here a set of instructions, and then for the dog lovers out there, you're going to love that one. Do not scold him, he will replace everything. Free after sale service for you, support at icm.com.ua. So nice to know that they've started up a spares service, and yeah, you can see there's Mr. Dog with a broken sprue in his mouth. So oops. Right, so put the box to one side, and first thing we do is have a look at the instructions. Now in the instructions we have a card, which is quite a nice touch, and this is basically like an A4 sheet. It's card, it's not paper, and I think it's designed to be put in a frame. Basically, as you can see, it's like an advert, I don't know, a poster or whatever for the car when it was first built. But you can see there we've got some German writing, so if you can read German you can read that, and obviously some basic dimensions of the vehicle there, so that's a nice little touch. So going into the instructions, as we always do, unfortunately the front is glossy, but it's giving us basically, we've got it all in here in Ukrainian by the look of it, and then down here we've got it in English. So it's 265 kilos, it seats two. It was 2.4 meters long, 1.2 meters wide, so that would fit in the back of a Vivaro van. Height of 1400 millimeters, and it's got a 1-cylinder, 0.95 litres, 0.9 horsepower, maximum speed 16 mile an hour, so it's 0.9 horsepower. That's amazing. And I tell you basically here, read your instructions. We've got Revell and Tamiya colour call-outs, which is nice. Revell paints are lovely. If you haven't tried them. They're great on the brush. They're also, when you spray them, if you use the Revell thinners, they're also very, very hard wearing, so great for your RC stuff and that, but it does take a while to dry. So we've got Tamiya colour callouts, which is a nice touch, and here we've got all our legend for basically for what we're going to be doing with the model. Let's just darken up this screen a bit. Wrong way. Let's make it so you can see it a bit better. There we go. So we've got our sprue there, which again is glossy paper, unfortunately. So it's got our sprue callouts here. We've got a jig for making up the wheels, and we can see here's a photo etch, and basically it's chains and wheels. So it's going to look lovely when it's done with those photo etch spokes. It's going to look very nice indeed. So going into the instructions here, we're starting off with the frame assembly here. So you can see we're making up the frame. We've got leaf springs on there, and we're just put the two halves together, and the rear that's probably going to want jigging up somehow, and then we're adding cross members to the frame, and then here it's saying for assembly variant 2. Okay, I know what this is saying. So you can see here, this is the main pulley that's going to drive the axle, and what they're saying here is to fit these are obviously the outer sides of the pulley here, and this is the inner side. And what they're saying here, you can see on this one, if I bring it up close, unfortunately you can see through the paper, it's a bit confusing. But you can see that basically the one on the left here has half a belt on it and the one on the right doesn't. And you'll see later in the instructions, they're giving us the option to scratch build a belt, like a rubber belt to go around it, or you have two separate plastic parts that form the straight part of the belt. So you obviously use the one with the half the belt on it, or the one without if you're going to scratch build a belt. So that's your main sort of drive there going in. So you're adding that onto the frame, and then we're adding the actual rear axle spindle as well. More cross members going in there. And then we've got the seat, so there's an opportunity there to do some lovely wood effects on our seat. Seat going in there, and then we've got this looks like the flywheel for the engine. And then we're adding the flywheel, another cross member going in there. The engine itself, which looks quite simple, not too much to it. A bit of seam work to take care of on there, so if you are going to get one of these and build it, I would do that first, let that dry, and then you have your seams all nice and hard when you need them. Adding the engine, and then we've got here, looks like the crank system, so this is obviously going to be the crank that's going to spin the flywheel, and we've got a gear on there as well, it looks like. So that's all very nice. And then here we've got the what's that? That looks some kind of throttle mechanism, I'm guessing. Not too sure. It's some sort of throttle mechanism, I'm guessing. And then here again we've got this pulley with the choice of having the bit of belt on it or not. And then we're gonna add that in there. And then here you can see what I'm talking about adding the belt. You've got the flat sections of belt you're going to glue on if you're using the wheel with the chunks on it, or you're going to scratch build your own belt if you're not going to use it. I'm not sure what you would use there. I guess a rubber band would be good, but the trouble is it will probably deteriorate over time. Maybe some Tamiya tape back to back and roll that around. I'm not too sure. Have to have a think about that. And then we've got this chest here. I'm not sure if that's going to be a fuel tank or it's just a box or whatever for putting your stuff in. And then we've got here, I'm guessing that is a water container perhaps. Or maybe that's the fuel tank. Not really too sure. It's being fed from the back of the seat, so I don't know what's going on there. And then we've got some more pipe work going in here. And then we've got another tank there. I'm guessing that must be the fuel tank then. And then we've got a seat here. Seat padding. I'm guessing seat padding for the actual seat itself. Oh, okay. So this isn't the seat. This is the floor and the sort of to stop you putting your feet under into the engine, and then the seat is going to go on top of the floor there. Adding the chains, so we've got photo etch chains, building them up in pieces, so that's going to look really nice. Then we've got our jig there for our wheels. You're going to push the wheel down into there, that's going to give you the angle on your spokes, and then add the hubs and everything, glue all the wheels together and then fit the wheels on. Doing the chains on the other side, fitting in the front, got glossy paper again, sorry guys, fitting on the front piece there, and then we're adding more wheels. What is very bad about this, the paper is very thin, so you can obviously see through, and it's making it pretty unclear to see. I'll see if I can doctor it in the editing stage. And then we've got the steering mechanism going in here. So you've got your steering rod there, so it's like a rack and pinion system. It's very much like a bicycle forks on the front. And then we've got here, this is going to be the handbrake going on the glossy paper, and then here you've got your colour images here, and all the way through, if you notice, you've got colour call outs to colour everything. One thing I am a little confused about, and I must do some research, they've got the tyres as being painted black. Now I know from doing, funny enough, that was an ICM kit as well, go back and have a look, that was a beautiful little model, that World War I Model T ambulance I did. And on there they called for rubber colour, which is like a sort of, it's almost like this colour actually, the rubber in those days. So I'm not sure if these tyres would have been black, maybe they would have been that colour. But there is one of these actually in the Mercedes-Benz museum. But of course we don't know if the tyres are original. Very much doubt they are. But anyway, so there we go, that's the instructions. So we'll have a good look at these Photoetch parts. They're very nice indeed. Let's get some light back. There we go. So we can have a look at these Photoetch parts. Very thin, very nicely done, in a sealed bag. I'm not going to get them out, but they are, you can see the detail on them is quite stunning. The detail on the chain is lovely there. You see the detail on the chain there, and the spokes are going to look amazing. You might want to give them a run of gloss paint or gloss varnish just to kind of round them off a bit, because they will have like a square section to them, or painstakingly sand them round. But something I often do with Photoetch, especially if it's like Edward Photoetch for a 32nd scale aircraft and they've got, you know, brake piping or something, or piping in the undercarriage bay, just brush some gloss paint over it and leave it to dry, and what happens is the gloss paint will mound up in the centre and run away from the sharp edge, and it kind of gives it a round look to it. It's going to fatten it up obviously, but it might look a bit better like that than having it as a square section. But very nice indeed, and very thoughtfully packaged as well, so nice one, thank you ICM for that. And of course the other thing is we've now got the plastic, and ICM plastic is wonderful stuff. So let's have a look in here. Again, we've got resealable bags, so if you're one of those that likes to review kits and then sell them on, you're laughing. So we can get all the stuff out of the bag. So basically we've got one sprue of parts, and then we've got these tyres and wheel jig. So looking around this sprue, it's not going to take much to review this kit. Let's get you a bit lighter again. So I'm learning with this camera with this lighter background. Okay, change of background I think gives it a better look, doesn't it? So, so I'm still learning. Please don't comment about my filming skills and stuff. I am still learning, and as you can see from my changing the camera around, I'm sort of messing with things, and I don't know what they are, but I'm messing with things. So basically one sprue, and then these separate tyres, and the jig there for making up the wheels. We can see there, I thought I had a stretch mark in it, but it was a reflection of the light. So basically on the sprue here, one sprue, we've got, going along here, we've got some cross members, we've got our axle, we've got the belt there for the that main drive belt, front forks, brake, we've got some very, very fine piping. I can't believe nothing on here is broken when you consider all this is rattling around in the bag with it as well. We've got the actual main engine halves there. We've got the water tank or whatever it is, and then we've got the pulleys here, and you can see we've got pulleys with the actual half the belt on them, and then pulleys without. So if you're going to make a scratch belt, you use them. If you're going to use these parts here for your belt, you use those. Chassis halves there with the leaf springs on them. You can see very, very fine indeed. It's going to be a very, very delicate, very, very flimsy model. Looks like it's got a short shot there, but it's not. It's that missing section of that rod is to let you put your pulleys in and slide them along. Again, some very, very finely detailed parts. I will give you a close-up of this now. And then you've got your front... I was going to say it's not the front, I'm not sure what that is. We've got the flywheel here, it's the other half of the flywheel by the look of it. So you've got a rim going around the flywheel. Does the flywheel actually have anything coming off of it? I don't think it does. No, I thought maybe it had a belt on it or something, but I don't think it does. And you can see there you've got the beautifully moulded seat with the embossed detail in it. So very nice indeed. Let's have a close look around this sprue just to see how fine the detailing is. It's lovely, lovely plastic. So you can see on there, that's the part that goes behind the driver's feet. You can see on there we've got the planking in there, and we can go to town with our wood graining. Again, here we've got the footrest area, so that's going to be lovely, and that beautifully moulded seat cushion, which is very, very nicely done indeed. Looks like a buffer mounts off a railway car there, but you can see lots and lots of very, very finely moulded, very, very small, fine detailed pieces on here. So looking around, really, really lovely. There's the other half of the main half of the chassis there. Again, you can see those pulleys there on the right with the belt, on the left without. So yeah, very, very nice indeed. It's nice they've got the Photoetch wheels as well, so the spokes are going to look lovely. It's a shame to me I didn't do that with their Africa Twin. The plastic spokes look awful. So there's our jig obviously for making up our wheels. And then here we've got our tyres. So okay, so they're halves. So the tyres are in halves. So they're going to sandwich the Photoetch. You can see on here, on this side, you've just got the nice round section, and then when you turn them over, you've got all sorts of little cutouts and holes and everything to line up with the actual sprue. So I guess you can build the wheels up first, paint them and everything, and then add the tyres after. I was thinking, you know, because one of the issues with this kit will be is you have this centre part here, which looks like it's brass. So you'll have the centre part there painted brass, and then the outer part here is part of the Photoetch, which is also going to be brass. It's a shame they haven't made the model, the parts in brass, they're copper. And then you've got the outer hub there, which is plastic. So really you're going to want to build all this up and paint it together, or it's all going to look awfully gappy, and then paint the wheels afterwards. So I don't know, it's worth having a think about. But it's one of those, it's just such an unusual model. It's going to look fantastic in a display case, and it really is going to be an eye catcher. So there we go, guys. That has been the review of the Benz, I was going to say Mercedes-Benz, it's not, Benz Patent Motorwagen 1886. So very, very old and very, very lovely little model, and a really, really unusual subject. Go get yourself one. As I say, Dave Coley's Emporium, $29.99. Everywhere else it seems to be more expensive, so go get one. Thanks for looking. Bye for now.